Thank you all for joining me here on this what is the Science to Achievement, and it should be an incredible night for you. For this is something that I am very passionate about, and I believe that you will see that through my actions and speaking tonight. And I'm just really excited for everybody on here that have joined me on Zoom and people who are live on Facebook. It's great to have you all on here for what I'm about to teach you is something that could possibly change your life, because webinar like this is the one thing that changed my life, and it has forever changed my life. And I see people on here right now. I know that it's changed their life as well, because they have went through this and they have studied this material. So it's great to have you all here. As I say, my name is Brian Cassidy, and I am an associate of Dynamite Lifestyle. And for me, that there represents me going in to you guys and teaching you, well, teaching you, showing you. I'm just admitting people in while I go along here, so bear with me. Um, but it's about teaching this material, getting it out there. I work under Kim Calvert. She is the number one in the world under Bob Proctor, which is like an incredible feat for a man that's been going at it for 60 years now. And he's never met anybody like Kim Calvert of Dynamite Lifestyle who understands this material more than anybody else. And the reason why she's so passionate, because her life dramatically changed forever. And we're all used to listen to people from America, Australia, everywhere. And this is the thing that different or changes for me is when you have somebody that got there from a wee place in Northern Ireland who's doing it big, who's teaching this material and getting all the results, because that's what counts here. And this is where I'm going to take you on. I'm going to take you through the night. What you're going to get here is you're going to hear my journey. You're going to hear where I've taken this material and applied it to my life. And this is where I'm going to hope for you then to take this and apply it into some application in your life. We're going to go into results, where they come from and how they form and how you've ended up with the results you always have. Because we always know that we're always wanting more. We're always not happy. We're not content. Something has brought you on here tonight, and I want to help you understand where results come from. I want to then talk about goals, because we always know goals are the definite purpose in life. It's something, the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. This is where I want to be taking you in depth. We're going to let you understand the mind. We're going to let you understand the attitude, the life, and energy, and what this is all about. And as I say, I want to bring this to you because I feel that this is going to think. So what does the people want? What I think that I'm going to help you with is people are searching for in my life that I've heard when I've been working on this is 6 to 7 things: happiness, money, time, joy, love, fulfillment, and purpose. And these are the things we're all looking at. You're bound to fit into one of these here categories, because for me, I fitted in near enough in all of these categories because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what I was searching for. I was going round and round. But I can tell you now, we've just mentioned the first three, which is happiness, money, and time. These are three things that you cannot achieve, you know, because happiness is a state of being. You just are it. You just don't get it. And that's the thing about it. Money, you don't want money. You want what money gives you. You want money gives you the joy, gives you the happiness, gives you the freedom, gives you that fulfillment. Because when you want money, you want to buy something with it. So when then that's something you get, whether it's helping somebody or giving to somebody, then it makes you feel good, because we always know giving is receiving. And we always know that there's time. We cannot make time. Time is for us, you only get a certain amount of time. You cannot make it, but we can manage it. We can adapt ourselves. If you're saying there now, I've never got any time and I'm busy, well, I can tell you now, there's people out there that's running 7-figure companies. They're running, maybe 15,000 people in a company, and they've got all the time in the world. And they've only got the same amount of hours you have in the day. So I'm going to help you with this understanding that it's all in the mind and it's all in the thinking. But for me, I have to start with my journey and why I'm sitting here in front of you now, speaking to you guys on a webinar for underneath the umbrella of Dynamite Lifestyle as an associate. For me, I was a complete wreck. My whole life was sabotage. And a lot of people could probably resonate with this. It was self-sabotage in the sense that I was taking drugs, I was taking drink. I didn't know what to do in my life. I was thinking I was going to get fulfillment here. I'm going to get it here. And I could have did anything just to get away from it. And it was breaking me every time I went around it. And I started back probably when the ages of 17, 18, when you lost a friend at a young age. And I'm going to talk to you what it is, what emotional impact is later, and how we change that program. And for me, it was a death of a good friend at a very young age. Probably I was on that road maybe to sabotage, who knows? But when you see something like that happens, you don't care anymore. You do not care about the life. You don't care about this body. You don't care what you put into it. And that's when I went down at it. And you know what? When you're that age and you're young and you're going out on your first holidays and stuff, that's where it ended for me. That's where it just started. And more or less, I thought this is what enjoyment was. You had to go out, you had to get yourself obliterated. I mean, going on holidays, not even getting down the street three times, first 3 nights, it was just complete and utter drink yourself to death. I'm very fortunate to be here right now because as I tell this story to you, I had three friends who didn't make it mentally, who didn't come through it, and I had another two friends who died with over experimenting this. So bear that in mind when I tell you what I went through. I went through this here knowing that life or death was a fine razor's edge that Bob Proctor always talks about. And for me, I didn't know about it because I just kept going at it. I didn't have any love or self-respect for myself because I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just go out, get drunk, get out, get drunk and drunk, take this, take that, and lying in bits and pieces. And then you see your family members, you see them breaking down with you because when your mother's breaking down, then that breaks your other brothers and sisters down. And I come from a big family, three brothers and three sisters, and I'm very loving and a brilliant home to be brought up in. There was no issues there in the sense of being, it was great and we were all very close yet. But what I was doing on their mother, by doing it to myself, was absolutely killing them every time because they tried to talk to me, they tried to do anything to me, but they couldn't because I was in this route to complete sabotage, to complete oblivion. And I didn't know how to get out of it. I had no idea how to get out of it. If you're ever stuck in a place and you think, is there nothing else here? Is nothing else? Well, no, there's nothing else. I'll take another pill. I'll take more drink. I'll take another pill. I'll take another Coke. I'll take whatever. These things ended up ripping me apart mentally inside, but I didn't know it. And I was trying to escape from something, but I did, or prison, but I didn't even know I was in one. And that's the thing that I always stood out to me. It's through this understanding now that I can look back. Steve Jobs says you can always look back and put the dots together. You can never look forward. But we've got this here tricks and we've got the tools here now to put people in so they can reverse engineer from where they want to be. But it was just that there thing where my mother used to come in and I'd be laying there in a pile and you were just laying in it for the 3 or 4 days I had been out on the road, no, nothing to eat, nothing to drink. My face would have all pulled back, body just like I must have been about 9 stone less, 8.5 stone. And it was just because it was completely relentless party, party, party. But she was coming in screaming and roaring, screaming and roaring. What the hell's wrong with you? What are you doing this for? You know you can do better. I did know, but something just was doing it. Something just done it anyway. I didn't know how to stop it. I get up and I'd say, that's it, then that'll be it. And boys would come to about Thursday and bang off, I'd go again, the same routine, boom. And it was just that relentless over 10 years, just keep going and keep going. But my mother did something over a change of time. Instead of coming in roaring and shouting at me, she came in and she gave me something that I didn't actually feel before, which was she came in instead of roaring and shouting, because she said she would give up. I had already interviewed her on here one time before, and she said she'd just give up. She had no other choice but to just send me love because that's all she knew. And for me, when she done that there, when she started coming in and bringing me ice creams, and I mean them, like it was just, and it was a Lucozade bottle and everything, bringing them in, and me laying there, but I had just done the damage to myself all weekend again. And I couldn't even speak to her. My face was up about it, and she was bringing this in. But I can tell you what, she done it another week and another week. Well, I then started bringing me guilt because I couldn't give back to my mother. And that made me feel worse again. But it was the first time I had felt emotion because I was completely dead inside. I wanted my whole life to end because people say you're out joy and happy when you're doing your drinking your drugs. But I can tell you now, you go away from all that, your whole life is a complete misery because I mean the thoughts and everything that was going through my head, I didn't bear thinking about. Like, and as I say, I lost three friends to suicide and I lost two friends to experimenting too much of this. And as I say, somebody has watched it there before my mother. Like Dawn was a strong woman, but to do what she done set me in a journey, set me in a trajectory that I would go and I give back to her what she'd give to me. And I would try out all these things. And this is what we talk about. This is personal development we talk about. I'm in personal development, but I know you got to be personal. It has to be development for yourself. You got to develop yourself from within. So I went on a journey. Of course, the first thing I would go on was religion. I know we all practice some sort of religion back in Northern Ireland or something, but for me, I just jumped right in on it. I mean, being in Surfers Paradise in Australia, and everybody talks about, this is paradise, surfers paradise. Well, there was no paradise in here. I everywhere right around me. I was living on the 10th floor, and everything was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Living on the 10th floor, looking over the beach and stuff. But I was going to the mast to try and help myself because I didn't know if I could cope any longer, if I could go on any further. And I meant going down there. But the more I prayed, the more I got of the thing I prayed for. And I can understand this because I always know that once you think something and you feel something, then you're going to get more of it. And I didn't realize that. So the more I prayed, I get more off the thing that I was trying to get rid of. And I was blaming something outside me for all the problems, and I couldn't do it. So that left me then, I couldn't fix that. And I then get on to the YouTube help, which everybody on here has done before. We all jump in. If there's personal development here, we get on to the Dr. Wayne Dyer. We get on to the Tony Robbins. I was an expert in listening. I would go to sleep listening to Alan Watts there. It was a beautiful thing that I used to listen to. But I discovered yoga. Yoga told me there was union. It was union. That's the word, union with yourself. So I decided, I love yoga. So I would get me on another journey that I would try and help myself. I would go off to the Bahamas to a yoga retreat. And this yoga retreat, they would take you in and you would do, 6 hours of yoga. By the way, I'd never bloody done yoga before, but when you're an addictive personality like myself, you just done everything. Boom. Like the way I done this, the way I do everything, I go all in. And I went all in at that. I went over there, you stayed in the tent. And where do you think this place was called? I went from Surfers Paradise to Paradise Island in the Bahamas, staying in a tent with no meat, no alcohol, finding out all about the things, all about the mind and how good yoga is, how good meditation is. This is exactly what I love. This were the things that I thought I was cured. I was healed. I goes, this was good. And the same way the religion done, you've come out of the mass, you went to the chapel and you were good for a while, but then bang, you were doing the same thing again. And I would do the same from coming home from the yoga retreat from the Bahamas, doing all this meditation. Everything was good for a while, but it lifted up. And I didn't realize that I went back home again. I thought, oh, this is good, running around my ego. I've done that, I've done this. But I ended up back doing the same thing again. You end up in a lot worse state. And that's what I ended up in, a lot worse state of mind. Because every time that I tried something and failed, it hurt me even more and it put me down a darker hole. But then I would get something, you've all heard it on here before. It's called The Secret. A good friend of mine gave me the book. And whatever it was, I liked reading it. I would take any help at all. And The Secret, everybody has read it. It's the law of attraction. We all hear about this. You think about it, you'll get it, the car space and all that. Well, I would then start attracting more good things because I goes, if I'm thinking whatever I think I'm going to attract, well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this here book, and I got the DVD of it, and I put it in my car, and I listened to it over and over and over again for 6 months. It was a repetition of that because I know that repetition is the thing that changes the programming inside. So I decided I'd listen to that. But when I listened to this here, I've started attracting new things to me, new people. And that's what it is when you have good thoughts. You attract more good things to you. And I attracted a good friend of mine who was passionate about boxing and stuff. And I had done boxing when I was a kid. And that would lead me down a journey of goals. The first time I would really have developed a goal orientated in my mindset. And I went after boxing, winning all Iron title because nobody had ever done it before. I always wanted to do it when I was a kid. And I've now got The Secret in my back pocket because I know this is the law of attraction. That's all I have to do. Well, I burned that into my mind every single day I was listening to that. I knew it was triggering something inside me. I went after it. I ended up becoming, we didn't even have a boxing club. And we set up our own boxing club, became the chairman of it, started educating 100 kids about how to box and discipline in life. Here's me teaching about discipline, and my whole personal life was a complete mess. I was sabotaging, still doing, the boxing kept me on a trajectory away from it. But I thought this is me fixed again. I went off this for 3 or 4 years. I went off and won the All Iron title because I did exactly what The Secret says. But I didn't realize what goals was. I didn't know the goals was about growth. That's the reason why we set goals. I didn't really, I thought it was about getting the medal. I put the medal around my neck and had won it exactly the way I'd wrote it down through stoppage in the quarterfinals right up to the final. And this was something else nobody had ever won before. I had 3 broken plates in my face from the times of being beat up and stuff through drinking drugs, and I had 2 false teeth. And these things I was doing, I was too old. But I hit all my mindset and I put it on it. But I didn't realize what I was doing. So when I got that and I won the thing that I always wanted, I couldn't feel it. I mean taking the picture and looking at it. Yeah, I goes, is this it? Is this it? I went off and I was in the leanest, meanest place than I ever had been in my life, and the hardest I've ever been, and in a community and a chairman, and but I got the thing that I have been dying to get. I didn't get the things that I was looking for. But I had a good time in getting it. I had a great thing, but I didn't realize goals are about growth. Goals are about becoming, not about getting. And it's about the feeling rather than the getting of something. So that would leave me. 6 weeks later, I was back in the drinking the drugs after the winning All Ireland. I was down in the same hole again, down in the same pubs, doing the same things, in the toilets, doing whatever you had to do, getting arrested, getting drunk, laying in a pile, not coming home for a few nights. And that's tough when you get to somewhere and then you fall again. And you fall and it hurts. It hurts your whole family because they don't know what to do. I was running around trying all these crazy ass things and I was still ending up back where I was started. So that left me then that I another year or so gone by, I wouldn't know what happened. It was I was reading because I loved the reading because whatever the law of attraction done for me, I loved the reading again. And I'm in reading another book and up came ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is supposed to help people. You know, this is another spiritual thing you take and you put in your body. And I says to myself, I would take this ayahuasca and this would heal me and this would cure me of my bad habits, my behaviors, my beliefs, everything. I thought it was going to do all this thing that everybody said it would do. Of course, I went off to Monte Mariposa, and it was one of the most incredible things I've ever done. Like, and it was sensational. Away for 5 days, there were 17 different countries represented. We were all dressed in white, and there was rituals, and there was heart dancing. But you took this bark of a tree and leaves of a tree, and you put that in, and nothing happens for the first hour or so, and the next one, boom, you start going all. You start purging out all this black stuff. It was like purging out your soul and stuff. But I couldn't understand because they always say it was crazy. Like, but at the end of the day, I was closer to one side of death, and this year maybe had an option for me or had a cure for me or something in there. And I went off, and it was one of the most spectacular things I ever had. I started getting rid of ego and attachment and judgment, and it was one of them purifying awareness kind of real moments where you've seen everything for the first time, like you were born again, you were getting all the answers, you went off, I spoke a new language and everything. It was incredible. For 9 hours, you're off in this complete hallucinogenic kind of journey. I did that for a few days, and but I goes, this is me healed. I cried for about 4 hours the last day because I thought this is it. There's all my troubles and everything gone out of me. And it was beautiful. But I come home again, and whatever it was, it done to me. The awareness was through the roof in me. I was noticing trees, and I was stopping, and I was blown away by all this newfound awareness that I had, and the rain dripping off the trees. It just, my mind is too much. I couldn't, and then I could understand what people were saying and what they didn't mean. And my head was gone, it was fried. So I had to suppress that there with drinking drugs again. And that would leave me, like, I'm down maybe 7, 8 years. I've got 2 friends lost at this stage, and I've got 3 friends that didn't know how to get out of that mental prison that they were in. They didn't even know they were in one. And I just thought to myself, this could be me, and this could be my journey. But then I was met another good friend, D again, took me, kept beside me, and he took me up to see a lady, Kim Calvert, at a seminar just like this here. What I'm talking, it was called the Sense to Achievement, and that's the reason why I'm coming on to use to talk to you about this. Because when I went up in and I sat down with that lady, I sat down there and she dotted every single aspect of my life where I went failed at, where I went wrong, why I was going around in circles, and why I was not getting any new results. I was getting all the same results over and over and over again. I was looking paradise. I was way in surface paradise, I was way in Paradise Island. I thought the drugs was my paradise. I thought everything I had was outside of me was the paradise. Until this lady sat down and told me about our higher mental faculties, about our laws of the universe, about everything and how we can dot these all together and how your problems all are existing of your programming, of your program from you were a child right up to the age of 7, and then all your habitual behaviors after that. This is the things that I started to learn, and I started to say to myself, and I ended up going at this as I did with everything else. I went full steam into this. And this teachings, this study, and this deep study that I have been coming into now, this is what I'm going to teach you tonight. I ended up was temporary changing my results. Through was religion trying to fix something outside of me, fix me, it's somebody else's problem. Then I would go and do the yoga, and I would say that was it, something else is going to fix me and heal me again. I was doing temporary switches, hitting a temporary fix, good for a while, then fall down again. I would do the YouTubes, I would do the secret and listen to that and get it over, and then I'd go after the goal. But I didn't realize and understand what a goal was. And I thought about getting something that was going to heal me and fix me. Little did I know that that was going to make me even worse, because every time I fell, and then I tried that there medicine, putting it in. But you got to understand, it was only until I started into the deep study, till I started into the repetition of these ideas, of this knowledge of how we can love ourselves again. Kim has taught me to love myself truly inside. I only now develop myself from within rather than trying to develop myself from outside. And this is what we got to understand. If we are trying to develop and this is the problem. I need that, and I need this, and I need that. You're going to be on a long journey too. I went on that long journey for 10 to 11 years, and it was tough, and it nearly lost my life in the middle of it too, because I couldn't go on any longer if I had to keep doing that. And I know a lot of people on here are maybe feeling the same. You're maybe feeling that the results that you have in your life are not this good. I had poor health relationship. My body, obviously, my health took its toll. I couldn't breathe. My heart was playing. I mind getting pains. I couldn't breathe for 30 seconds because I mind got in. I couldn't tell my mother and all what I was doing. So that was completely, if I had kept going, what would that have done? I was going in, my finances, I was always blowing. It didn't matter what money I made, I was blowing it because that was the way I was programmed at. And I was doing it in my relationships. Every single relationship I had was gone. Now I've got a great relationship. I've got a great relationship with a woman now because I've now learned me and developed how to love me. And if I can love me, then I can love her. In the same way my mother, that she went and gave me that unconditional love, I can give that her every day now because I have it in me. You cannot give what you do not have. And that's what I learned. You got to have my self-image completely changed. And all these aspects, when you go and you ever want to think about changing anything in your life, you want to figure out what it is you want. You got to figure out, is your income exactly where you want it right now? If it's not, then it can be changed. If your health's not the way it is right now, then if it's not, it can be changed. Because if I can do it, you can do it. I say, if you haven't got the greatest relationships in the world, well, I know that's all starting with you, and that's the self-image and that's the self-esteem. We can fix everything, and we understand that we are the controller of it because we created it in the first place. But the same mind that created it will not fix it. You got to have a different mind. You have to have a different mindset. And that's what it is when you get a different results. When you're looking at a different result in any aspect of them there, you got to go into the mindset. 95% mindset and 5% strategy. I had to figure out how I was going to change that. People were always looking into me and saying, what was he doing? What was done? I've changed everything because I decided to go on a journey that was going to be repetition every time. But if you ever want to change in all these aspects of your life, you're going to have to figure out what your goals are. And I know that if you want your happiness, if you want your money, if you want more time, and if you want joy, love, fulfillment, purpose, all these big words that we all talk about, you have them right there in you. We got to develop them, take them out, because I always know the word education, we're sent off to school, and this is what we got to understand, that we were taken to school. I was sent to school and I did 11 plus, which is an exam, and that gave me a D in life. That gave me a D. That gave me an impression that I was a D student. So that one moment in my life, I thought that was the sum up of me. One moment where I done an exam for 30 minutes to an hour, somebody give me a mark on my whole life, well, then that would have the rest of the life compared to it. This is what we always do. We base, our report cards on what kind of person we are. When yet and all that was only you for 1 hour. The person I was yesterday is not the person I am today. The same with you. All the problems and all the things that went wrong, the things that I did, drugs and drink and stuff, I can speak very, very loudly and proudly about them because why? I know I'm no longer that person. I'm not being defined of a vision of the past. I'm being defined of a vision of the future. And that's so can you. And that's what we got a clear division of the future. What do you want? You don't want to be thinking that when some teacher sat and told you that you had a lack of imagination. Somebody teaching you, somebody's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And that's what we let these report cards, these people tell us. You're God's highest form of creation. You've got infinite potential within there. And we want to draw it out from within because that's where the word education comes from. Educo, draw out from within, not go and put in. We've got loads of people out here who are in schools and are, teachers and stuff, and they aren't good in any other aspect of their life. They might have degrees, but that doesn't give them a degree to say that they get their happiness, they get their joy, they get their fulfillment. Why is that? Degree doesn't give you their security that everything's going to be okay. Then people still have problems. Why is that? Because they've just went and memorized a particular certain subject. And that's what we got to do. We got to learn the subject of you, understanding you, how you develop yourself right now is going to dictate how your future is going to be. Because if you let how a teacher, I seen somebody up there speaking on how somebody there said something about them when they were at school. We let somebody else's opinion of us dictate us. And see, even at work, somebody gives you and they give you a grade and they come down and they sit down and they goes, oh, medium or all right at work and stuff. And then you let that there be your thing. So that builds your self-image. All these things over time, that's how your results come. Over time, we are building an image of who we are. But as I know, you got to have that goals. The goals is something that we want to build. If you've got goals, then you are not like the leaf blowing in the wind. You got to figure out what it is you want. You got to figure out right now what it is. I studied and I had to figure out in our first lesson we went into and we figured out what I wanted. I didn't worry about what everybody in the past said to me that I could do. Who the hell said to me if I was laying up in a pile doing the drugs that I used to do and now that I could be on speaking here in a seminar called Science to Achievement, living in a dream home, living with my dream girlfriend, doing my dream job. I wouldn't call this a job. It's called a purpose. I want you to live your purpose, but we got to understand goals. We got to understand how you get that. Because sometimes the gift that's laying deep down inside of you just needs a wee bit of light shone upon it. And that is never, you cannot shine that from inside. You got to be shone upon. Because sometimes you can't see your gift because you are blocked by all these programming, all these things in your life that you've went into and you've thought this and I think this. And what is it? Sure, life's too good. This is our beliefs that we have. If you've any of these beliefs, then you're suffering. Money doesn't grow on trees. You'll get enough to do you. Save enough for a rainy day. These things are going to keep you down. That is a mental blocks. Because whatever you put on a label in yourself, that's what the world will produce to you. That's what it's going to give. Because I know this, because I know what the mind does. The mind gives you that every time. We got to understand the mind. We've got these things called higher mental faculties. And this is what Kim teaches me and taught me the most. This is how I understand goals. We've got 6 superpowers deep down inside of you. And I talk about drawing out from within. You've got reason. And I'm going to tell you about these here, a wee story about Victor, right? Reason, memory, will, perception, imagination, and intuition. They're their 6 higher mental faculties. If you've never heard of these before, this is the reason why you're not getting the results you want. Because if you need to get anything in life, you need these. You need these. I'm going to tell you how Viktor Frankl. Now, this is a story because I'm reading about Viktor Frankl at the minute. It's a Holocaust survivor, and it's a man's search for meaning. He was a psychologist who was brought to the camps, and his reasoning, the way he thought, when he went into these camps, he could only think, and he used his thinking because they were under such worse conditions. I don't know if anybody's heard of it. They've all heard of the Holocaust, but what they went through, and this man's book, I listened to an Audible, would bring tears to your eyes, but complete joy to understand that you're in the same human body, the human existence as that man is, because the way he spoke about how developing himself in such conditions, because he says that's the last thing that a man ever has is his attitude. And his attitude, he talked about the reason. That's your thinking mind. He used his thinking mind to understand that he can just transport himself out of the camp at every single moment, thinking about his wife, the love of his wife, that she's still there. Yet and all, there were 17 members of his family that was burned in the chimneys. And this is the thing that we got to do. He used his memory to all the good times that he used to go into his house. And that's another hermeneutic, right? Use the memory to go in and picture himself. And you can do that as well. We can use our memory either for us or against us, because he was using his memory of all the great joys in such hard conditions that he would memorize all the beautiful things, walking into his wife, giving her a hug and giving her a kiss. This kept him going, even though that he had frostbite in his toes and stuff, and he was digging into the grounds with picks and stuff, and he had only one slice of bread every day. He used his memory for him. We use our memory against ourselves because we always remember, oh, Brian, but I can't get that goal because look, I remember, look at my bank account. I can't get that because I don't have enough money, because I'm broke, because I don't get that. Oh, that's for him down the road. Our memory, that's only beliefs from the person gone by. The beliefs that you have for the future, you create them right here now. There's will. He had a will to get up every day. He had a will to get up every day to go after something. Every day he wanted to go after and find his wife. He visualized himself every day. That was the imagination he used. You've got the will to change. You've got the will. they always talked about there when they put a man on the moon. They asked, how would we put a man on the moon? JFK asked uh, the German scientist. And he says, the will to do it. And that's all he said, the will to do it. You have a thing in there, it's a higher mental faculty in the will. And I see, to use now, and you ask, how do you ever exercise that? I exercise my will all the time. I exercise it through just getting a dot in the wall and just staring at it. These are wee small tricks and stuff that we can teach you, but it's getting into the understanding of these. We've got perception. His perception from what he was going through wasn't as bad as other things. He seen people going up in the chimney and stuff, and the chimney was showing that people were getting burned, but he changed the perception. They went to another camp one time, and his tower, when he just changed the perception, there was no smoke, and they never ever had another bad day in that next camp, even though it was still the harsh conditions, because they knew they weren't in the camp where the gas chambers and all were. But he had that imagination. Imagination is your workshop. And this is what he used. He used his imagination to get out of there, to transport himself to somewhere where he wanted to believe and create every time in his mind. And this is what they all said. They said the people in the camp had nightmares every night, but he wouldn't waken them, because he says the nightmare was going to be a lot better for the reality that they were in. And that thing about perception, he says, when you're such defeated, no food, hunger, near death, his perception, the way things changed, they come out and they told a story about coming out every time when the sun would come out, when the wind would blow the trees. They were amazed by it, because there was no other enjoyments in life. And they come back to the pure human being. Who am I? They were this higher spirit, this spiritual being with these higher mental faculties. And so are you. But the intuition, having that gut instinct within you, having to understand that intuition comes when you walk into a room and you understand that somebody there doesn't like you. There's a bad feeling in the room. Or you just have that gut instinct, I needed to go here and do something and things good happen for you. We need to develop that intuition, because if we don't listen to our gut instinct, our intuitive mind, we're always going to be to the rational mind, which is probably given to what everybody else is doing. We're never going to listen to what's good for us. You're always going to listen to what everybody else is doing. And I understand this one thing. Fear is not the opposite of courage. Conformity is. Do you want to conform and be like everybody else and give up your whole life, this gift that you've been given, to be like everything else? Or do you want to use your intuition, because you've been sent here with a purpose? You've been sent here with a unique gift. And it's understanding this unique gift. This is where I say to you, if we understand the mind, I'm going to teach you a thing or two about the mind here now. Because if I say to you right now, what is the mind to you? You maybe think of the brain, but the brain's no longer more the mind than the finger is. That's what you got to understand. If I said to you right now that, think of your car. What color is your car? How many doors does it have? What model is it? Then I say to you, what color is your front door? You can think of it there now. If I say to you, go into your fridge, was it 2 doors or 1 door? Think about it. If I said you know exactly what color it is, then I said to you, open the door. What way does it open? Does it open to the left? Does it open to the right? In that thinking there, just right now, you transported yourself right into your kitchen. Into your mind, you were in your mind, you flashed up that thing, you memorized yourself what way you opened up that fridge. You tapped into these higher mental faculties, you moved over there through memory, through reason, thinking, and you flashed up that image in your mind, what way that opened up. See, we're always trying to fix the mind. Everybody says, oh, mindfulness and this mindful, no, mindless. We've got so many thoughts and everybody understands trying to control something. We're trying to control something and cure something that we cannot see. And we all work in images. And this is what you do. You work in images as well. Your whole mind works on images, but you don't have an image for the mind. This is where I want to give you the image for the mind that you'll probably see in my logo here. I'm going to share my screen 2 seconds. And you're going to get this here. Let's see this coming up. This is one of the things that sure. This is what you want to understand. You want to get a picture of the mind. This is my beautiful, lovely diagram. Can you all see it there? Yeah. See this here? This is a picture of the mind. We all work in images. You know, our whole mind works on it. Pictures. We all picture ourselves with that there with a nice car and anything we want to do, we get pictures. But we got to understand what the mind, right? So our conscious mind. Conscious mind is only up to 3 to 4% of our results. 3 to 4% of results. And our subconscious mind is 97 to 96% of all our results. This here, conscious mind, is influenced by these things: sight, hearing, taste, smell, touch. Your 5 senses are controlling your conscious mind. That only has 3 to 4% of all your results. So I told you about the higher mental faculties. They all lie in here. They all lie deep down in here, because that's the thinking mind. As I seen it down here, you've got the thinking mind and your emotional mind, and then you've got your body. So this is the picture of the mind. You got to get this concept into your mind, because what we want to do is, when we think, we have to emotionalize that thought. When we emotionalize that thought, we pop it into the subconscious mind. This is what you want to do every time. You want to understand how to get something in the subconscious mind, because if it's 96 to 98% of all your results, you want to be impressing your thoughts upon the subconscious mind. And this is how it works. We think on 3 planes of understanding. You think on 3 planes of understanding. That's spiritual. We all know you're a spiritual being, because that's the question everybody asked here. Who am I? Could anybody answer that? Who am I? Somebody would say, I'm Brian Cassidy. I'm not Brian Cassidy. I've been given that name by my parents. But there's bound to be something more than that. When somebody says, oh, I'm my body, but you're not. You don't say, I am hand. I don't say, I am arm. I am eyes. There has to be something more to that. You are on 3 planes of understanding. That's spiritual. You're spiritual. You have got spiritual mind, and then you've got your physical and intellect. Intellect. You've got these 3 planes of understanding. So you're a spiritual being. You have an intellect, higher mental faculties. That's what they are. And then you've got a physical body. Whatever you think, whatever you feel, you act. That's the exact way you're getting all your results in your life. Because everything that we get here, up in here, these 5 senses we've become a slave to these 5 senses. Sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. All our beliefs, all our habits, all come from what we have done in the past. And you say, well, why is that? Where do these habits and where does this habitual behavior come from? Well, it all comes from when we were kids, from the ages of 1 to 7. We grew up where sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. From the ages of 1 to 7, that's where our programming begins. Our parents, they didn't understand this material. They weren't given the beauty that we are now given today, the likes of webinars and Zooms. We can, I see we're in America and everything here too. We can be crossing this across the world, because you know why? We've got something special here now. We've got an understanding. Bob Proctor's been trying to teach this for 60 years now, for people to wake up and be and achieve anything they ever want. Because Napoleon Hill said, whatever a mind of a man can come to conceive and believe, he can achieve. And you got to understand that. That's something that I keep talking about all the time. It's something that you want to get in there, because from the ages of 1 to 7, your parents, whatever it is, if you had been, we might be all speaking English here because you'd be on here to understand me, but if you had grew up in China, I'd have spoke Chinese, because that would be in my environment. A wee bit of mum, a wee bit of dad, and then the environment around you. That becomes your programming, your beliefs. If I grew up in a house that my mother and father, they always says, oh, money doesn't grow on trees. There's never enough. There's never enough. There's lack. There's lack. There's lack. Get a job to fall back on. That's what I was told in a trade. Get something to fall back on, because you're going to fail. And if you had any of these beliefs, Jesus, that would never happen to me. Think about where they come from. These beliefs are not your beliefs. They were given to you, passed down to you, and you've adopted them thinking this is who you are. When you start labeling yourself as something, then you stop understanding everything around it that has maybe another different side of it. That's what arguments is all about. One person's got one belief, another person's got the other one. And we never then get to understand the other person because we will not drop our beliefs on our arguments. The same way for our results. Most people are looking at their site and there's everything in your body's your results down here. This is where you've got your results here, but no, we do. We look down here. We look down to the results every time for our site. And then we go, then that affects everything else. That affects our emotions and everything. So that means that we are thinking mind, our emotional mind is always fixed on the results. So if we're thinking on the results every time, what are we doing? We're getting the same results every time. But we've got a higher mental faculties called imagination. If we were to tap into our imagination, then we can go into the future and create anything that we want. Then we get emotionalized about that there. So if I keep thinking, those we talk about the repetition of something, how did I change? I did the repetition over here over and over again, studying with the #1 in the world, Kim Calvert. She taught me how to think. Because remember, 2% think or 2% think and 3% think they think. Another 95% would rather die than think. That's crazy. Mental activity doesn't count as thinking. You can understand that just because you're busy all day and your whole life is, but if you're getting the same results as you were yesterday or last year, that's not called thinking. You're just recycling old thoughts over and over and over again because you don't know how to change them because you are being held hostage to these 5 senses. These are keeping your results exactly where they're at. Because if you stop thinking the way you normally do and started using your higher mental faculties, started dreaming of what you wanted, because I know you see this emotion, which is the subconscious mind. This is where your heart's desire. This is the heart. This is the infinite intelligence right here. You have a burning desire. You've been sent here with a gift, a unique gift in this world, and it has to be given out. If you think just because you're working for somebody now, this is what you're meant to be. My name's Brian and I work for BT. That's who I am. That's got nothing to do with who you are. That's got nothing to do with you. I have a heart's desire to be more and have more, be a larger expression of myself because I know I cannot serve by playing small. I cannot serve anybody by playing small in this world to feel inadequate. So somebody doesn't feel insecure around me. That is never going to help. You want to figure out what your heart's desire is. You want to tap into it. And the only way to tap into it is tap into these things, tap into the study. Because then when you start thinking about the thing that you love, you start emotionalizing. When you start getting emotionalized about something, then that has to move into action, which then gives you new results. Everybody on here either wants results. That could be money. It could be fulfillment, because I know what fulfillment is. So I realized it. Fulfillment is going after something that's big and crazy. What is goals? What type are they? Big and crazy. You have an A-type goal. An A-type goal is something that you know you can do and you've already done it. There's no growth. Goals are about growth. You've got B-type goals. B-type goals are something you think you know you can do. And if I do this, I'll do that, and I can get that. But there's no growth in that either. You need to get yourself motivated. To get yourself motivated, you need to start thinking differently. You got to start thinking like the person you want to become. This is the difference. This is the change you're going to have to do. The C-type goal is something that you've no idea how to do it. You've absolutely no idea how you're going to achieve this. That's the one that's going to give you the biggest growth. I want to be in a private jet. I want to be flying around the world, doing a seminar, coming on with the music I put on earlier on. I can't do it yet, but I'm going to act like I am. I'm going to speak like I am. I'm going to become the person of the goal achieved. I'm going to feel like that every day. I can tell you now, and I've just realized that we've got a dream car there recently. And my girlfriend there, and I says to her, it was 6 months ago or something, she decided she was going to get a brand new Range Rover. She decided that this was it. We're going to have an excitement of joys that me and her were buzzing, yeah. And we pretended we're in it and it was all good and great. But once it comes, she says, that's what she done. Well, it's just a car. I've got it. It's great. So what does that go to tell you? You don't have to receive the thing that you're looking. You just got to think about it over and over again, because nothing will ever be as good as the day you first thought about it. When you first realized a dream or an idea that came up in your mind, oh, that's going to be the gift. That's where the feeling, and that's where I seen her buzz. That's where her enjoyment lay. That's where all the feelings were worthwhile, because she stepped out of her comfort zone and stretched herself and decided that she wanted something more in life that she didn't think she could have, and she never had before. And bang, she got it, and it wasn't the same feeling, because that's what you got to do. You get it. Once you get it, you got to move on to the next thing. We're growth oriented beings. We either growing or dying. In life, we either grow or we die. We disintegrate. Growth or disintegration. Gotta love that. You gotta love this here. If you got it, and you could, all you have to do is think the thing about every time over and over in your mind, the repetition of a goal in your mind. You can have absolutely anything. Look around here right now. Everything in your room was created or got by you at one stage or another, or a family member had to think forth, then buy. That's what you had to do. The laptop, the computer, everything that you have right now in your home, that lamp, everything was once a thought in your mind, then got. You can have absolutely anything. The same way you're doing that naturally, you can have the same with a beautiful home. You can have that with a beautiful partner. I done that exactly to the T with my girlfriend. I only visualized the feeling of what I wanted from a partner, because I was fed up being on my own, and that was it. I was time. Didn't want everybody saying, "Oh, you need to settle down." I said, "I'll settle down, then I'll get home." But I done that because I understood that I'm not looking the things, I'm looking the feeling that it gives me. So I only have to tap into that feeling. If you tap into that feeling every time, you're going to change your whole world right around. You don't want any feelings. The secret. We talk about that film or the movie, The Secret. The secret is the law of vibration. And do you know what vibration is? It's the feeling we give happiness, we give sadness, we give joy. That's an expression through your body. That's a vibration. You attract that towards you. Understanding these principles is a beautiful, beautiful gift in life. And it's something that I have understood. You have something in there that's controlling everything that I said, and it's in the subconscious mind that I showed you in there. What is in there? It's a program that's been running, the paradigm. If you've never heard of a paradigm before, it is incredible. It controls everything. It is a bunch of habitual habits, and most of your life is just a bunch of habits. It's something that's habitual over and over and over again. You got to change that. What you're doing here right now, that everybody that I've attracted onto here now, because you've attracted me and I've attracted you right here, right now, for a reason. There's something for you right now that you got to be seeing what it is you want, what it is you're looking for. You're looking something right now, because I'm telling you now, what you're doing right here, right now, by listening to me, and if you're taking this in, then you're emotionalizing it. Well, there's the thing. You got to emotionalize yourself. If you want to plant that seed in the ground, you can't plant the seed in the ground by throwing it. You just got to plant it in and nourish it. You nourish it every time with emotion and repetition. But as this is the thing, I could be speaking to you right now, and you could love this here, and you could love hearing about my story and how I come from a place of sabotage. And oh, that's a beautiful wee story, and that was great. And oh, I might do that there tomorrow. And all right, and then tomorrow comes and bang, you forgot everything I've said here tonight. That's what a lot of us do, because no way, either passively learning or emotionally learning. If I said to you, think of 9/11, where are we at? You think of it straight away, and it flashes straight up in your mind. Why is that? Because you're emotionally involved that day. Trauma, shock, everything. I remember exactly. I was in the science lab, Mr. Phillips' class. Every time I can bring that straight up to my mind, because I was emotionally involved with what was happening. It was mind blowing. You can always remember the day that somebody proposed to you, if that was the thing as well, because you're emotionally involved in it. If you are passively learning, you'll come on here and maybe get onto YouTube's, and you'll get onto another seminar and you'll just listen. Or are you getting emotionally involved and saying, this is the day that I changed. I set new goals. I set a new trajectory in my life. Because if this is something that you are talking about, if this is something that you want, then you can do that with me. You can reach out. You can jump on a call with me, and we can take you through this. Because I can tell you now, This is something that if you're not getting emotionally involved with, you may forget about your dreams. You may forget about them. As I told you, there's a burning desire deep down inside of you wanting to get out, craving more, knowing that there's more. You hope that there's more, because I can tell you now, everything's about hope. Viktor Frankl had hope to get out of that thing. And it was that sigh of hope. And that was the decision he made one day, that he said that when he made a decision, he actually made a decision that he wouldn't fight anymore about trying to survive. And he made a decision. He made a decision that he would stay with his mates to help him, because he was a doctor or surgeon of some kind. And he made a decision because he was fighting and trying to get away, trying to avoid every time thing, and he stayed. And he came to a whole place of peace, because no way. In that, he made a decision. And this is what people in life do. Like, the reason why I bring Viktor Frankl up, because he was robbed of everything else but the pureness of what it is to be human, what it is to be a spiritual being with an intellect. You know, that's what it is. He brought it all back. And it's a great understanding that we are all that, but we have all the noise right around us. We're all distracted. We're being conditioned at every moment in our life. And it's something that you want to break free from. It's something that you want to move into a new dimension. You want to move into a new form of thinking, because it's not the conditions in life that's going to choose your destiny. It's your decisions. You got to think about that. What do you need for this year? If you're going to go and you want to go after your goals, you want an attitude. Attitude. Your attitude to life is going to be its attitude back towards you. I can tell you now that, because I've understood that there. Ever since I've changed my whole basis of thinking, everything, you wouldn't believe, if you haven't been studying. So some people on here do believe, because they have been studying this for so long, that this is incredible material. This is an unbelievable piece of material. When you start thinking about something, bang, that shows up, and bang, when that shows up, and that shows up, and that, you wouldn't believe it, because you've just moved. And you just go from fantasy, the things that I always wanted in my life, fantasy, that comes in, that's the spiritual being, the thought. And you build that fantasy, and you look at it, and you think about it, and you go, Jesus, well, that'd be great, that'd be amazing. And you just keep doing it over and over again. And then bang, you'll come down. Once you do that over and over again, you just come to the theory, because you go from fantasy, theory, and then fact. Because you'll go and you'll burn that over and over again, and you don't have to know the how. Everybody on here is saying, but how do you do it? How do you do it? How? The how's not up to you. You got to be guided by somebody who's already doing the things that you already want. Somebody who's already went and changed their life, because they've done it. Kim went from being a £36,000 a year nurse in mental health in 6 years ago to now running a multi-million-pound company with a multi-million-pound pad that you just bought the other day, which was incredible. For a lady that was making £36,000, who was broke every month. I was a BT engineer. I used to come out, I was an electrician, because I always had to get a trade, because I didn't want to become a tradesman, because my dad says something to fall back on, because of course I was going to fail. By God, I failed. But failure in life, our life's a whole gift of failures. And if you could see it that way, your failures right now have led you to this point where you're going to make a decision that I want more, that I want to give more, that because I can know that the more I've come to make of me, the more I've made of all the people around me. That's something special, because when you start going after something, you start attracting more and more people to you that you never thought that you would ever have in your life. The things that I have attracted, that me and my girlfriend, like, she just loves this here, because we just have great fun and laughter with it, because it is some of them things that you just have with like you get a train, you get this, you can get that. But I'm getting everything that I ever wanted in my life. I wanted to work with Kim. Kim had nobody else. She had no men at that time. And when I wanted the first manager, I just kept writing it down. She didn't have to know. So I didn't care what it was, how it was going to be done. And by the 6 months, I actually get the word said back to me that I wrote down every day for 6 months. And I got to do that. But I have to move on to the next goal, because I know it's just a constant repetition of it. Because I know the universal laws. If you understand that you can create anything right now with thought, you're working from a higher potential to a lower potential, high to low. You've got your thoughts, feelings, actions. That's your results. And everything's vibration. Everything's energy. You got to understand that. If you understand that, You've got universal laws out there, and if you're not abiding by them, then that's the reason why things don't go right. Why does it always happen to me? Well, there, even that thought alone will damage the things that you want. You can attract absolutely anything that you desire in your life right now. Through the transmutation of perpetual energy, we can change any thought into a physical form. See anything that sits right in front of you right now? That was once a thought. That was once in somebody's imagination. Somebody created that. Everything's created twice in this world, once in the mind, then into its physical form. You got to ask yourself, what is it you want? It's sitting there waiting you. Whatever you're seeking is seeking you. You got to trust. Most people here don't trust themselves because that's a self-image issue. Everybody out there has got a self-image and they've constructed, this is who I am. But I've just described to you that you're more than that. You can be anything that you ever desired you wanted to be. Because I always remember there's another law called the law of cause and effect. That is a major law because every cause has an effect, equal and opposite. You know, you do one action, you do one bad deed, it's going to come back to you. You be angry at that person, it's going to be angry, somebody's going to be angry back to you. But whatever you think, there has to be a fact of every thought that you have. Somebody says, oh, at least I didn't say it out loud. I was going to say this here to them. I was going to say blah, blah, blah. Oh, she's an out, boom, boom. Even that thought alone, you have the damage done. That's going to be reprehended to you, back to you. And you say, why is things happening all happen to me? If you speak behind somebody's back, that's going to come back to you. If you're always complaining about your job, you're going to get more to complain about. Because what you think about, you attract. Remember, when you say, I am tired, you can't be tired. You're energy. You're all energy. You can't have that expression. I am useless. I am, whatever follows I am follows you. You want to get into that spirit of your goal every day because there is a law of compensation. There's a direct law of compensation out there that dictates there's three things. And whatever you want to go and do, it is your ability to do it, the need for what you do, and the difficulty in replacing you. But if you do your ability to do it, if you become the best, whatever you are, and you but a burning desire in it, then the other two don't matter. Because the need's always out there for whatever you need in this world. Look around you for everything that you have there. There's a need for 100 things right in front of you right now. There's a need for whatever's laying down deep down inside of you right now. Because it's not what you, it's the energy that comes with it. You got to understand that. Everything is energy. We're just a massive bundle of energy here now. And thought is the highest potent of energy out there. Our thoughts become things. You are now a representation of all your thinking of the past gone by. It's incredible. You think about it. There's a law of growth. You've planted seeds over and over and over again. With somebody saying this repetition, oh, I'm saying this, my work sucks, rubbish. Oh, another bad day. And remember, where do you hear this? When somebody comes home and says, thank God that day's over. Wow. Like, study that day. Study what you just said in that. Thank God that day is over. You might never get another day before. Many's a person have gone, never had that day again. Everybody's crying out, thank God that day's over. Oh, great to get that day. You need to get something from your day rather than trying to just get through your day. Every day you want to get something from it. Get it out. Get something from it. And the only reason why you're going to get something if you have a destination. Because I was that person going around and around in circles. There was nothing more that I needed to do other than set a destination. But I had no destination. If I dropped every one of you off here right now, and we planted you, put a blindfold over your head and dropped you in the middle of the field somewhere, you just wouldn't know where to go because you got to first know where you're at. I went and found out where I was at. I could have put in a destination when I was going like up there, you know, with the drugs and the drink. I would have went hell for leather at it. I'm sure I maybe have fallen, but it would never turned out the way I wanted because you know why? I was looking for something outside of me there, but now I know it's everything inside. And that's the reason why I go after things to become something. You got to find out who you are and where you are right now in order to get where you want to go. That's the beauty of everybody on here that's studying this material right now is figuring that out. They're all trying to figure out who they are. You know, what is it? You know, you got to understand what is ticking off. Where did all these things come from? And then you can decide where you want to go. That's what Kim does. Kim never tells us what to do. And this is what you the gift of Kim. She doesn't. She teaches us all how to figure out what we really want in life. And this is the thing that I want you all to do. I want you to figure out where you want more, or you're just going to settle for whatever you have in your life right now. Because I am dropping you a link. Because if you want to figure out who you are, where you wanted to go, you can hit that link there, and you can, what do you call, jump on and have a chat with me. Because I may seem a bit mad and seem a bit crazy, but I can tell you now, I have got nothing but passion. I see Barry laughing there. Barry jumped on a call with me, and he's sitting on here now. Michael Campbell's on there too. And I can tell you now, these things here change your life. I've seen people's lives change. This is the reason why I get to speak with great authority, because I changed my life. I knew that my life was going nowhere, and I needed something to change. But nothing in life ever happens until you put in that, find out where you are, put in that destination. But you can't get to the destination until you decide to go. What is the goal? It's the decision that you're going to get it, regardless of whatever happens. Now, when you put down that big crazy C type goal, like, it just freaks you. I vomit. You should see what I have up in this wall. And I vomit every time I look at it. And I go, right, that seems to be a good enough goal, because I don't want to do any of it. And I haven't fixed all the programming yet. I'm still, by the way, paradigm isn't bad. Paradigm's a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. God gave us habit to make good in life automatic. That's what a paradigm is for. He gave us the paradigm in the program to make good in our life automatic. That's why he give us habits. But we have decided to go against ourselves, because the people before us, the game of our grandparents or mother parents, they didn't know about this material. We are now gifted with it. We're now handed to us in our bedroom, sitting down maybe at the kitchen table or in our living room, in the comfort with a cup of tea. You have all the beauties of all the gifts right around us. And now you have somebody coming into your house now teaching you why you're not getting the results you want in your life, why you're not getting the things you always wanted. Our thinking, when we fix our thinking, everything else fixes. You don't want to fix your problems. You fix your thinking, and then your problems fix themselves. It's such a beautiful thing. If you ever really want to do it, you jump on a call. You can jump on a 45-minute call. I can help you for 45. I love my job. So let me love this even more by helping one person here tonight, that I can go on and help you, take you through this here. I'm telling you, this is something that can always last forever, because once you become aware, there's no going back. This is the crazy thing. Everybody says, when you get a gift or you're given something, it might disappear on you. When you change from within, you can never change it back. You no longer can go back. When you become aware of all these things that I'm telling you about, your higher mental faculties, the power of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, the laws of the universe, when you understand, you start thinking differently. You start applying yourself differently, because life is going to change its attitude towards you every time. Your attitude to life is just going to be life's attitude towards you. And remember this: what happens to you and what happens for you are tiny matters to what happens within you. You got to figure that out. Doesn't matter. It's what happens in here that counts. I train here because the brain's only a transmitting station and a receiving station. That's why we don't go up here. The brain's no more the mind than it is the finger. But it's all beautiful. Everything's working for us. You're born gifted here in every step, absolutely way. We have an intuitive mind and a rational mind. We have become a complete. The intuitive mind's a gift, but nobody listens to it. We've become a servant to the rational mind. Just react. Instead of responding, instead of taking back control in your life, you can take control of every circumstance in your life right now. If I told you, this is the beautiful thing. And I know I get excited, but it's such a beautiful thing that regardless of what, anything that ever goes in my life right now, ever again, I can never be affected by it unless I choose to let it. Whether it's through death, whether it's through relationships, whatever it is, the concept of knowing that we're always energy can either be created or destroyed, it just is. So that means that we can neither be created or destroyed, just as we're in the consciousness, universe, God, whatever you want to believe in. I didn't believe in anything. I used to use love before. Now I can use the word God because I fell in love with it all. For you right now, it doesn't matter what you believe in. If I'm speaking one truth to you here tonight and there's something deep down inside of you, make that decision. Make a decision that you're going to change. You're going to change one thing today. You can book a call with me and take a deep inside. We can figure out if you're in an A type goal, a B type goal, or a C type goal. Let me tap into your heart, get you out of your head because your head is full of exactly. I was full of that. If you're not getting the results, then try my way. My way works. Kim's way. Kim Calvert is the number one in the world. She is absolutely killing it with the results. I seen a lady on Tuesday night, and now we talk about money. By the way, we talk about money, but I've said to you, money gives you the feeling of the things that you enjoy. Gives you the feeling, and people say, "Oh, money can't make you happy," and all. But I tell you what, it was a great way to be sad. And the process of that, there, it's one of them things that if you wanted to go and buy something, you can't go in and say namaste or positive thoughts, or they don't take that. They take money to get anything. And we had people on there the other night earning 70,000 in 1 month. We had another lady who just kicked ass with 35K when doing this course. She started out in a $4,000 a month, and now she hit 35K a month. Local girls round home. Did I come believe it? Must be only the age of 29. It's crazy to think that these people are doing this. We have one client went from 25,000 to 250,000. We have clients there who were broken, who didn't know a way out. I'm one of them, but I have other clients that didn't see what it was that he wanted, didn't see what his purpose was, didn't know what fulfillment was. He was searching everywhere. Now he's gifted every single day with the pleasure of waking up with himself to look in the mirror and say, "I love you," and absolutely give himself goosebumps every time he looks at it. And he loves his kid more than he ever did in his entire life. This is a beautiful thing that I get to watch every day. And I could want to, and this is the reason why I come on to do the science to achievement. The science to achievement for me is to feeling fulfillment, to feeling everything that is possible is yours. It's been given to you. You don't get anything more. You have been given all these. You've been given everything that you always need in life. There's nothing more to get anymore. You've been given it. We don't go and wake up tomorrow morning. Oh, I've got a few extra tools in my pocket here. I'm going to get this today. No, we can tap into your imagination anytime. We can help you develop your higher mental faculties. We can take you through it. We can take you through your self-image. The self-image is everything that portrays. There's two images in the world, the one that's inside and the one you portray to the world. I used to portray a self-image to the girlfriends that I had, that I didn't do drugs and didn't do this and anything. I always became what they wanted me to be. And that was two images I was portraying. I don't know if anybody else here does that. When they meet somebody, they become something else. I only know me right now, pure, raw, authentic me. And that's the reason why I love me more and I can love my girlfriend more, because I stopped trying to play the self-image of two people, the one to the outside world and now to myself. I'm now it constantly. I'm a pure, raw, authentic self. I have nothing but love, joy, and complete passion for everything that I go and do, to wake up every morning, to get excited when the alarm clock goes off at 5:15, to say that I've got another day in life and I'm going to get something from this day and I'm not just going to get through it. And I would love to give this to every single person in this world, because that is my gift. That is my God-given gift, that I am going to give this to whoever wants it and whoever will take it. And I believe there's so many on here tonight that will take this up, will take an offer to jump on a call with myself. Because what do you think it would be like to jump on a call 45 minutes with me? I will show you some messages that one of the lads nearly had a heart attack, he said, and it was just through getting them inside their head, because I get you out of your head and into your heart, and I can tell you, I can find out what it is you deeply desire, and that's all we want to do for you. Whether or not you come along with us in this journey to discover that there gift, I still want to get it into you. I want to get you thinking, because if I can click something in there right now, that could change everything for you. That can change absolutely everything. I've changed this constantly, day in, day out. So remember, you got to make a decision. Am I passively earning here tonight, or am I going to get emotionally involved with my own life? Because you're not doing it for anybody else. You know, and as Kim says, if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for your kids, do it for your family. I went on the whole journey to do it for my mother because I wouldn't do it for myself because I had no self-respect or no self-esteem. I had nothing for myself. So I did it for my mother to begin with, to go on them journeys, to go on this and to go on that. But I got to skip myself a whole load of pain. If I had went to somebody who understood the mind, because when you understand the mind and you can fix the mind, you own your thoughts. And your thoughts become feelings, and your feelings become actions, and your actions become results. And everything starts to portray and everything starts to give you exactly what you need in your life. Because I know that now that some people are just going to be passively learning here tonight. And some people are going to be emotionally involved. A lot of people on here are so good. And Paul Burke has been on. There's loads of ones here coming on. Lauren, people are enjoying this here. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to join a group of amazing people that are going after goals, going after something more in life, because that's what you've been given here to do. If you're stuck, let's get unstuck. I've got unstuck every day now. I've got myself to figure out exactly the frequency that I want to be on. If your goal's up here and this frequency up here, your frequency down here, we got to close the gap. There's a bridge there. We need to close that. We need to get you from here up to there. Everything's frequencies. If you think about it right now, that I can be here right in this house in England, speaking to so many people in England and people in America and people in Ireland, this is through frequencies. You match the frequency the person's on, and you shall, the goal that you're on, and you shall receive it. This is what it is. Thought brings the thing to you, and action makes you receive it. So you want to act upon this tonight and take that link and pop it in again for you, and you can do it. As I say, I love people jumping on there in the comments and stuff. People that Kaylin jumped on there and in Savage and all. So thanks so much, guys. It was an absolute pleasure to be on here tonight. Honest to God, I want you all to think about it. What he's going to do, what he's want more from. He's want to just continue on where he's going to be from a year from now. If you haven't did anything different, what do you think's going to change? Nothing changes until you change. I decided that myself. I decided I wasn't going to give up on me. I can tell you now, I threw this out the window about 3 months in because it blows your mind, and it's difficult because you're changing the whole programming system that's in there. There's just a program. If I told you right now that you're an iPhone 2 right now and your phone that's got an iPhone 9 or 8, whatever there is out there, 11, if you put that software in there, you know what you'll do? Malfunction. It doesn't work properly. It freezes. It doesn't be up to date. It wouldn't send your pictures well. It wouldn't send anything. This is what you're doing with your life right now when you're not updating your programming. Our world is changing very quickly. 25% of all jobs in today's world will be disappearing in the next 5 to 10 years because it's all going to be automated. Are you going to be disappeared? Or your life going to be disintegrated because you're not growing? Are you not deciding to move into the thing that you always desired, that you know that there's more out there? Because I know there's more for everybody. I see it every single day. And the reason why I get pumped up and passionate about this is because I've got it myself. And I've got it through mentorship. Mentorship was the key thing for me. But if I can tell you now, all I want you to do tonight is to book a call with myself, and I'll have a chat with you, and I can get that C-type goal out of you, and we can spark something in there that will stick with you the rest of your life. So, honest to God, hit that link, and I will look forward to chatting to you. It was an absolute pleasure here talking to you all tonight. Thank you so much for everybody that signed on and stayed on. It was an absolute pleasure. All right. Thank you very much now. Bye-bye.